Good morning, students. In last lecture, we have studied experiment designing, in which the three basic principles of designing of experiment like randomization, replication, and local control we have studied. Now, how these three principles can be used for designing of various experiment and analysis of variance, that we are going to study in today's lecture. There are basic three types of experimental designs. One, that is completely randomized design, known as CRD. Second one, that is randomized block design, also known as RBD. And third, that is Latin square design, or this is also known as LSD. So these are the three basic types of experimental designs. Now we go in detail each of the type of experimental design and its layout. First, that is completely randomized design. For this experiment, there is limited and homogeneous material is required, and this is used for lab experiment as well as the pot culture. For example, petri dish experiments, where we are going to study germination studies or any other parameter that can be studied with the help of a petri plate experiment or pot culture, can be used for completely randomized design, where this field is divided into plots of similar shape as well as the size. Here number of products is equal to number of treatments, and randomization is done treatment wise by random table. In this designing of experiment, local control is not adopted, but that error variance is reduced by homogeneous set selection. Now we go for the layout for this completely randomized design. Here the total experimental area is divided into number of experimental units, like, or n. Then fix the number of replication for different treatments in advance for given number of experimental units, but no local control is provided, as that error can be reduced by choosing homogeneous sets of experimental unit. So this is about the completely randomized design. So here small scale treatments can be studied, and most of the times lab experiments can be designed with the help of this type. Then the next type, that is randomized block design. Here, as in CRD, the experimental design is divided into the plots, while in randomized block design, field is divided into homogeneous groups and they are known as the blocks, and further this block is divided into the plots of similar shape and size. Here all the treatment are similar to number of replication, and we can do randomization in each block of a plot. Here local control is achieved by formation of homogeneous blocks, and for this designing of experiment large number of treatments as compared to completely randomized design can be tested. When we go for its layout, here this is two-way layout. Okay, so called as a randomized block design or randomized complete block design, where in each block V number of treatments are randomly assigned to V number of experimental units. So here same probability of being adopted in the experiment, and their blocks are statistically dependent. So here up to this completely randomized and randomized block design. In completely randomized design, there is only one plot divided into the groups, but here in second type the blocks are divided into the groups, whereas in Latin square design or LSD, field is divided into homogeneous blocks into two ways, in which block in one direction as a row and block in another direction as column. So here number of plots in each rows are equal to number of plots in columns, and they are equal to number of treatments. So here this is the two-way experimental design. So number of replications are obviously equal to the number of treatments. Here local control is adapted by forming rows and columns, but this is not adopted in the previous two designing of experiment. Then the layout for this LSD. So each treatments once in each row and column, and the design is divided into rows, columns, treatment and error. Here as compared to the previous two design, that is CRD and RBD, more accurate results can be obtained, and this is with another positive point, that is it can be used for maximum number of treatments. In brief, we can recap that how these three types of design differ from each other. So in completely randomized design, you can observe that this completely randomized design is totally fully homogeneous, whereas randomized block design is heterogeneous in one direction and least square design is heterogeneous in two direction like rows and columns. So for a completely randomized design, we can use any number of treatment, but for randomized block design, more than 20 treatments can be used, and in Latin square design, from 5 to 12 number of treatments we can use. In completely randomized design, number of replications vary from treatment to treatment, but in RBD, the replication same for all treatment, but not necessarily it is important. Whereas in Latin square design, number of replications are equal to the number of treatments. So let's quickly recap what we have studied. Completely randomized design, in which experimental unit, it is with random assignment divided into the groups, and again these groups with the treatments, and we are going to compare the true treatments. Whereas in RBD or randomized block design, Experimental design is further, instead of group, it is divided into the blocks, and blocks are after random assignment converted or divided into the number of groups, and groups further into the treatments, and different blocks with their groups we are going to compare. While in the third design, that is Latin square design, there is a process of randomization with the help of table of random number of methods. Here one example is given, that is 5 number of treatments from A to E that are in 5 different columns and 5 different rows. How they are assigned, that each treatment is replicated as well as the randomized by removing the local by adopting the local control in the experimental set. So today we have studied 3 types of designing of experiment, that is completely randomized design, randomized block design, and Latin square design. This diagram gives you idea about the how that designing can be achieved. Let me give you one example. For example, in a university campus, you want to study the blood group. So directly in completely randomized design, that university area is divided into the random 2 groups, and the blood groups from that samples can be assessed. Whereas in randomized block design, what we have to do, again that area is divided into 2 blocks. Like when we consider with the respect to the gender, for example, in the same university area, the male candidates and the female candidates, these are the 2 blocks, and again as per the age, these male candidates are again divided into group 1 and group 2, female candidates again group 1 and group 2, and further their blood groups can be assigned. But in third Latin square design, same university area is with specific fields, that is with rows and columns, means gender wise, again with the help of department wise male and female candidates, we are going to analyze their blood group. So this is about the third, that is the Latin square design, in which Latin square design is used for large number of samples and more accurate results can be achieved as compared to the previous 2 methodologies, because here experimental design is divided into the rows as well as the columns, and again in each row and each column there is a randomization as well as the replication, and local control is achieved by forming the homogeneous groups into the rows and the columns. So how these designing of experiment can be done, that we have studied today. In next lecture we go for how this Latin square design, that is 2-way designing of experiment, can be studied further for analysis of variance, and that we are going to study in the next lecture. Thank you.